If you don't think Draymond Green is an ass, well, then you're not watching enough basketball, because we all know what he is all about. By the time he's done with his career, he's probably going to have a career in the UFC. Okay. We all know he knows the rear naked chokehold. Ask the big man, Rudy Gobert over there with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think right now the situation with Draymond Green is pretty simple. Draymond Green likes to stir things up. He likes to be the bad boy, as we've seen over the last couple of years. He stands for something in the NBA, and that's ruthless. If you want to think of a word to explain who Draymond Green is, he's a ruthless player that doesn't give a crap what you think or who you think he is. He comes from Detroit. He has that mean streak. And if you've ever been to Detroit and you've been around there, you would know that there are certain parts of Detroit you don't want to go to. And Draymond Green is one of those guys that he stands for that type of player. Now, that doesn't take away his brilliance. This guy at one point was one of the better two-way players in the NBA. For a guy who is only 6'8", he was playing center for the Golden State Warriors for 10 years. And he's won Defensive Player of the Year as a center for two or three times. This guy has a tremendous ability. He is a sensational player. Not anymore, but what he stands for the Golden State Warrior is character. And this is the team that for years has built their character between Steph Curry, what do they call them? The Splash Brothers. Obviously, the Splash Brothers are no longer together. One of them is over there with the Mavericks. And now you have Draymond Green. And now they're rebuilding their personality, their structure of their team. Steve Kerr, who never played 14 players on a roster, is now playing 14 players. Over the years, if you've watched Golden State Warrior basketball, he's only played 10 players on his roster. So he's completely changed the way he's coached over the last couple of years. Maybe because of the Olympics, maybe the whole situation with Tatum. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely been coaching this team a completely different way. But when Draymond Green, if you give Draymond Green a mic, if you give him a mic to speak, he's going to spew a lot of crazy stuff. Kendrick Perkins, say whatever you want. If you ever watch Kendrick Perkins played when he played for the Boston Celtics, this guy was a dirty player. Not as dirty as Draymond Green, but he was dirty. And he spoke, and he said a lot of stupid things on the basketball court. I went to a Knicks game years and years ago, and they played the Knicks. The Celtics played the Knicks. And I remember before the game, I was closer. I was close to the court, and they were doing a shoot-around. And Kendrick Perkins, I remember like it was yesterday. He was talking crap. I'll repeat. I'm not going to repeat what he was saying. Carmelo Anthony was shooting threes. He was practicing shooting his three. And Kendrick Perkins on the other side of the court was screaming at Carmelo Anthony, saying disgusting things to him. And Carmelo would just look back and look at him and smile at him. So I'm just saying that there are enforcers on every single basketball team. Now, who's the enforcer for the New York Knicks? A lot of people are probably saying, well, who is it? I don't think the Knicks have an enforcer. And again, that's why a lot of people think that the Knicks are being soft. They're a soft team. And that's why Jalen Brunson came out a week and a half ago and said that this team doesn't play defense. This team's not playing team basketball. And I'm not saying Jalen Brunson's going to have that mean streak, but somebody's got to speak up for the team. But if you look at every single NBA roster, there is a bad boy on every single roster. You look at Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a bad boy. Say whatever you want. This guy has a mean side to him. That's what makes him great. When he gets on the court, he plays hard. He plays tough. And he doesn't care what you say to him. He's going to say it right back at you. You push him, he's going to push you harder. You punch him, he's going to punch you harder. That is the creative, player that Jimmy Buckets and Jimmy Butler is. Draymond Green is not that superstar player he once was. There's no doubt. But the guy knows how to speak. He knows how to get under people's skin. He knows how to get the NBA to speak about him. And also, when you give him a mic on a television show, we've seen him in the playoffs. He was working with TNT. He was working with the boys. You know that he is not soft-spoken. He is going to speak and say what he feels. If you like him or you don't. That's what makes Draymond Green fun. What doesn't make Draymond Green fun is when he does stupid things on the court that you shouldn't be doing, and he's trying to permanently injure people, like trying to step on LeBron James's balls, or trying to hurt Adams when he was playing for OKC, or trying to do different things like against the Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert, almost choking him to death last year, or even doing what he did against Zach Edey. What did Zach Edey ever do to you? Zach Edey he's a doofy guy, but the guy's an innocent bystander. The guy is harmless. He's a harmless giant. Why are you picking on him? Who cares what he did with Purdue? He's no longer playing for Purdue. So I don't understand this. But again, it's Draymond Green. He's right. The NBA loves this. Why would the NBA want to bring him to the NBA Finals when he has nothing to do with the NBA Finals to work with Shaquille O'Neal and the boys over there, Barkley and all them? Because he brings a different dynamic to that table. And I don't care what anybody says. That's what makes Draymond Green so fun and interesting, is because you don't know what the guy's going to say. And you don't know how he's going to snap at you when he does it. Every team has a bad boy. I don't care. I'm not talking about beating somebody up like somebody like, Draymond Green has done. But look, Boston, they have Jaylen Brown. He is a very hated player. I mean, Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken, they have Tristan Thompson. He's not a friendly player. He'll go out there and cause trouble. Every single team has one, except the only team that I can pinpoint is my team. The team that I root for is the Knicks. I'm still trying to figure out who the bad boy. Dante DiVincenzo was a bad boy for the New York Knicks last year. He would stick up for Mitchell Robinson. I'm not going to say Mitch, because Mitch didn't even stick up for himself in the playoffs. I'm not even going to say it's Mitch. But the Knicks don't have a bad boy. But most and the majority of the NBA teams, they have a player that's going to stand up for the other players. And I disagree with Keith. Keith says that you don't need a physical player on your team. That's a lie. Every team needs a physical player. You need a guy that's going to stand up. Now, it's not the physicality that the 90s had. The Knicks, the bad boy Knicks, when they had Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason and Xavier McDaniel and those guys sticking up for players. No, I'm not speaking about that. But you need an aggressive player that's going to go out there and stick up for your players, that's going to stand up when there's something going on in the middle of the floor. I mean, every team needs one. Jabba, you know this. I just don't think that the Knicks, out of all the teams that we speak about, even in the Eastern Conference, you go up and down some of these rosters. Philadelphia has, Paul George could be mean, but another guy, Joel Embiid, he's a nasty person. There are teams that could have two players. The Knicks don't have one.
Errol touched on there's got to be one, but I think there comes in that dynamic of, is it helping or hindering? Because you got to have that dude that sticks up for you no matter what. Like, I got your back. And then is it hindering in the fact that I'm doing this for the attention? I'm doing it because I'm selfish. So I think there's a very thin line in like protecting your teammates and then being selfish and selfless in the aspect of like, well, this is my MO. This is who I am. This is what I have to be. Whereas sometimes it comes off like it's forced and fake, where with Draymond, it's obviously as his abilities have deteriorated, because all we've talked about always, Father Time never loses. And so when it comes down to it, is his role helping or hindering? And I don't think, if you have it as a hindering fact, I think it just does nothing but bring your team down. But if you've got that guy that no matter what, like, I don't care if it's the 12th guy on the court or it's our dude, I'm going to stick up for him, and I'm going to make sure that you understand that you don't treat my teammates like that. And I think there's so many things that it adds depth and dynamic to teams, but it also can hurt them in more ways than one too.
There's no question. And again, Draymond Green has an argument about what the NBA likes about him. And again, the NBA must love him, because if they're asking him to come to the finals and be a broadcaster, and they're going to pay him that kind of money, and I'm sure he's making some money if he's over there on TNT, well, that says a lot about what the NBA thinks of him as a personality. And I'm not saying Draymond Green isn't a personality. He is a personality. That's what he stands for. And when he's done with his NBA career, he is going to have an open opportunity to be a TV broadcaster. Why? because of his personality, because of what he does off the basketball court, and what he says on social media. He definitely likes to spew things and piss people off. But again, that's all him. That's what he is all about. I don't know what Draymond Green says on the court 90% of the time because I'm not at the game, but I'm sure when you get a chance to sit behind the bench of the Golden State Warriors, or he doesn't like a player on the other side of the court, you know damn well Draymond Green isn't going to be quiet.